What's up, guys? It's the summertime, and whether or not you guys have just finished up your spring semester, you're starting your summer semester, you've got a part-time job or found an internship. While working towards your dreams and goals, sometimes it's nice to take a moment to rest, recharge, and reflect. What I mean by this, I mean leisure time, downtime to some. Time where you're able to just completely forget about every other thing and immerse yourself in whatever's in front of you. For some of you guys, that is work. And for the majority of people, it's Netflix. And Netflix is great. It has some great top shows like House of Cards, 13 Reasons Why, Shameless, Orange is the New Black, The Office. The list goes on. You can pick your favorite and go with it. But I'm here today to mention a couple of shows who don't really quite get the same attention, even though they're pretty great shows in their own way. So without further ado, I'm going to get straight into it. The first show, well, I should backtrack in this, is very similar to The Office. So similar in fact that The Office has won a total of 46 awards with I think 6 Emmys and 1 Golden Globe, while this show has won 41 total awards with 16 Emmys and 6 Golden Globes. It's 30 Rock with Tina Fey, Alec Baldwin, and Tracy Morgan. It has that same kind of, how do I put this, lighthearted comedy where you want to root for the main character because sometimes it just doesn't go their way, but at the end of the day, it always works out for them. On a personal note experience, I recently finished up The Office, the American version of course, and I was looking for something to fill that gap in my life. So I even tried the British version of The Office, and it didn't work. So I stumbled across 30 Rock and I started watching the first season, and I have to say, I was hooked pretty quick. The relationships between Alec Baldwin and Tina Fey is phenomenal. It's pure gold, and that's why they deserve every single one of the Emmys they have won. Now, on to my second one. This one is very similar to House of Cards. This next show is very similar to House of Cards, even so that if you took all the awards won by The Office and 30 Rock, then you get the amount of awards for this show. And it's Aaron Sorkin's The West Wing. The political drama following President Josiah Bartlet, played by Martin Sheen, and his staffers, Bradley Whitford playing Josh Lyman, Allison Janney playing CJ, and Rob Lowe playing Sam Seaborn. It does a phenomenal job of leaving you wondering where it's going to go next, and everything in there, is pure gold. I mentioned that about 30 Rock in a good way about comedy, but with this show, it nails it on the dot. Check out West Wing. The next one is, to say the least, an odd man out of the previous two I mentioned, where they're big names. Well, you could say this one's a big name depending on what community you're looking at. It's Neil deGrasse Tyson's The Cosmos. And I say what community you're at because if you're into the mainstream stuff, then of course you've heard of 30 Rock, and of course you've heard of West Wing. Well, depending on what age you are. Cosmos, I actually heard through my summer class, my summer biology teacher. And he said it was a great show, and so I decided to check it out like I'm doing the same to you guys. The fact that I'm only 4 episodes into the series, and I can speak so highly of it, must say something to the fact that how it has a profound way of opening your mind to things. How you question authority, how you really take another look at things people have told you. Like, for example, I didn't think much of it in I did not think much of comets beforehand, but after watching the last episode, I always wondered, if a comet is made of ice and stone, then where did they get the ice if there's no oxygen in space? What? I sound like a nerd here. And that's the beauty of it. You start to think that way, and it does a good job of opening your mind. Seriously. If you're not going to check out 30 Rock, if you're not going to check out West Wing, check out Cosmos. Now this next one, I know I just said The Cosmos was a bit out of left field, but this one completely takes the cake. So far we've covered comedy, drama, and science. But this next one is anime, and for good reason. Growing up as I did, I grew up on things like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Naruto, Pokemon, Bleach, One Piece, where the hero was always overpowered in juice and you knew they would never lose. So when I ran into One Punch Man, It was a breath of fresh air because it takes the concept of an overpowered hero, and it actually gives him weaknesses. I know I'm throwing a lot at you right there. Let me backtrack a second. It follows Saitama, a hero who has become the most powerful person in the world, and nobody else knows it, except for the select few. And it follows his journey as he has to deal with depression, boredom, and just an overall lack of challenge, because he's the strongest person out there. Nobody really offers him a challenge. Unlike people like Naruto and them who, I mean, you knew he was going to win from the beginning. There was no way he was not going to win. And it gave a fresh breath of air because of that. I can't stress that enough. And it's so much that they even have one season on Netflix, and it's really worth taking a look at. Now, we're at the last one, and this goes without saying that this probably is my personal favorite. Then we have problems with our friends, our families, our boyfriends, our girlfriends, your significant other. And this show hits it right on the head. It follows Sophia. It was based on a book by Sophia Marusi, as she's a 24-year-old girl in San Francisco who recently quit her job selling shoes at a retail store. And it follows her journey as she starts to sell vintage clothing on eBay. And she encounters, you guessed it, people who said, no, you can't do that, and even in her friends and her family. People who hate her, like the vintage clothing forum, who want to see her fail, and even relationship problems with her best friend Annie, her boyfriend, and I'm going to leave it at that without spoiling the whole series. But that by far was one of my personal favorites, so much that I watched it all 13 episodes in 2 days. I'm a little ashamed to admit that. But that just is a testament to how great of a show it was. Seriously, go take a look at them. You can have to watch the first episode. If you don't like it, it's okay. It just means it wasn't meant for you. Continue to look for something that you like. Eventually you'll find it. Now, before I go, I have a couple formalities here to mention. Just a basic rundown, like don't forget to like the video, don't forget to write a comment below about your favorite Netflix show, and I'm forgetting one. I don't know what it is. I'm forgetting one. It feels like it's something big I should mention. What was that? Donate to the channel. No. Follow the channel. No, that wasn't quite it. Tag the channel? No. It was subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to do that before you guys go. As always, guys, peace.